On the world news tonight, the headlines first. Tinubu departs Abuja for Paris. Vice President Kashim Shettima decorates new acting IGP. We have recovered land worth trillions of naira, Kano government. Inauguration of 10th Ogun Assembly stalled over security threat. I have been running Zamfara on debts. Matawali left 4 million naira, Governor Lawal. On sports, Finidi and Monike leading candidates to replace Pasero as Super Eagles head coach. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. The news in detail. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has departed Abuja for Paris to join his counterpart from across the world at the Paris Summit for the new Global Financial Pact. Tinubu's official Gulfstream jet departed the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at 11:30 a.m. Tuesday for his first foreign trip as president. The two-day summit, which will be hosted by President Emmanuel Macron of France, will be held at Palais Brocnor from June 22 to 23, 2023. While in Paris, the president will participate, review, and sign a new global financial pact that places vulnerable countries on priority list for support and investment following the devastating impact of climate change, energy crisis, and after effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. A statement signed by the Special Advisor, Special Duties, Communication and Strategy, Dele Alake, read on Monday. Leaders will consider opportunities to restore physical space to countries that face difficult short-term financial challenges, especially the most indebted, mobilize innovative financing for countries vulnerable to climate change, foster development in low-income countries, and encourage investment in green infrastructure for the energy transition in emerging and developing economies. According to Alake, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other global leaders, multilateral institutions, financial experts, and economists will take a more holistic look at the recovery of economies from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the rising cases of poverty, with a view to providing access to finance and investment that will leverage inclusive growth. Tinubu returns on Saturday will be accompanied by members of the Presidential Policy Advisory Council and senior government officials. Moving on to the next story. Vice President Kashim Shettima has decorated Kayode Egbetokun as the new Acting Inspector General of Police. Shettima performed a short ceremony in his office at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Tuesday today. Among his previous appointment, the new acting IGP had served as Commissioner of Police in Lagos. Shettima was assisted with the decoration by Egbetokun's wife at the event that was witnessed by senior government officials, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Senator George Akume. Moving on to the next story on the world news. The Kano State government, Dr. Bafa Bichi, has said that the state government has reclaimed land worth trillions of naira since it embarked on demolition exercises across some locations in the state. The state's government, under the leadership of Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf, has demolished structures at the Wula Hotel site, Kano Eid Ground, Kwari, and Wambay Market, among others. It accused the immediate past administration of land grabbing, but the former governor, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, had since described the accusation as baseless. Dr. Bichi, in an interview, said somebody was claiming that 129 trillion naira and billion naira worth of structures were demolished. We recovered property land worth trillions of naira belonging to Kano State that the previous administration misappropriated to themselves and their families. The Eid Ground alone is worth trillions of naira. It's priceless. From Kano State story, we go to the next story. The inauguration of the 10th legislature of the Ogun State House of Assembly has again suffered a setback following a security threat. Assembly members-elect, dignitaries, well-wishers, and journalists who had arrived at assembly chambers in Okemoso, Abeokuta, were ordered out of the premises over an alleged security threat. The development threw the entire people at the premises into anxiety as scores of security operatives took over the chambers. The 10th legislature was expected to be inaugurated today after a failed attempt last Monday. Information reported that a leadership crisis had forced the House to postpone its inauguration last week. The postponement, it was gathered, followed an unresolved battle against the candidate anointed as a speaker by Governor Abiodun. While the state governor is allegedly disposed to return the immediate past Speaker of the House, Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, feelers have it that the majority of the members-elect, including 8 opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP), wanted Honorable Oludaisi Elemide. Again on Tuesday at exactly 10:41 a.m., the clerk of the House, Deji Adeyanju, ordered everyone out of the chambers and gallery over a security threat. Adeyanju made the announcement an hour after members-elect, journalists, and other dignitaries had arrived at the chambers for plenary. From that story, we go to the next one, which is coming from the former governor of Zamfara State. Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State has said he only made about 4 million naira in a single account since the assumption of power on May 29. The governor said this has forced him to be operating the affairs of the state on debt as the 4-month salary of workers are yet to be paid. He revealed this on Monday during an interview, adding that the state is unable to pay security agencies their allowances. He also disclosed that senior secondary school students in Zamfara State have not written the West African Examination Council (WAEC) and the National Examination Council (NECO). I have been running the affairs of the state on debt since I assumed office as governor of Zamfara. I made a treasury account of the state with no money. I only saw a single account with about 3 to 4 million naira in it, he said. It is about 3 months now and we are yet to pay the salary of the workers. If you look at all government agencies, the power supply to the buildings has been disconnected due to the hundreds of millions of debts inquired. Reacting to whether 20 billion naira was left in the treasury by the previous administration, Lawal said the claim was false, adding that the past government should publicly present evidence showing the amount left in the state account. Lawal said, when I heard that, I asked that they should come and show me the account and make it public with evidence of the account where such an amount of money was kept, he said. The issue of water, there has been no water in Gusau for about 4 months now. I had to borrow to purchase the chemicals for the water. From that story from Zamfara, we go to the story of a former governor from Benue. The former governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, is currently in the custody of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) following an information reports. Ortom arrived at the Makurdi Zonal Office of the Anti-Graft Agency located at Alo Gordon Street at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Correspondent gathered that the former governor was invited to be questioned concerning an ongoing investigation into alleged financial misappropriation during his tenure as an official. Former Governor Ortom is currently at the Makurdi office in Benue State. As the information gathered, the spokesperson for EFCC, Wilson Uwajare, didn't respond to calls and text messages sent to his mobile phone by correspondent concerning the development. Moving on to the next story. The suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, on Tuesday approached the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja, challenging his detention by the Department of State Services, DSS. In his originating motion on notice, Emefiele is praying for the court to enforce his right to liberty and freedom of movement, as there is no basis for his continuous detention. However, the Attorney General of the Federation as well as the DSS have insisted that the detention of the suspended CBN governor is lawful. In a plenary objection filed against the Fundamental Rights Enforcement suit instituted by Emefiele, the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and the DSS told the Federal Capital Territory High Court that the detention was backed by the order of a magistrate court and prayed for the court to dismiss the motion with cost. They noted that the arrest of the former CBN governor was an administrative decision of the DSS. The AGF is also challenging the jurisdiction of the court to entertain the suit, as the originating motion filed by Mr. Emefiele ought to have sought that the court set aside the order for his detention rather than seek enforcement of rights. The DSS, on its part, is also challenging the motion for bail filed by Mr. Emefiele. And to the next story from Akwa Ibom. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, said it had apprehended 239 drug trafficking suspects in Akwa Ibom State between July 2022 and May 2023. The commander of NDLEA in Akwa Ibom, Mrs. Obot Basi, will disclose these while briefing newsmen in commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking in Uyo, said the suspect comprised 197 males and 42 females. She said the command has secured 59 convictions of drug offenders during the period. She added that the command seized drugs weighing 1,465.99 kg and counseled 160 persons who used drugs and treated and rehabilitated 15 clients during the period. Part of the text read from last year's celebration till this moment, NDLEA Akwa Ibom State Command has been committed to saving humanity through its mandate of eliminating illicit drugs from homes and streets through arrest, seizures of illicit drugs. From that story from Akwa Ibom, we go to the foreign story. The head of the UN's refugee agency, Filippo Grandi, said on Tuesday that the number of people who have fled the fighting in Sudan was now more than 500,000, while 2 million are internally displaced. Today we passed the mark of 500,000 refugees from Sudan following the beginning of the conflict, he said at a press conference in Nairobi. 2 million people are displaced inside the country. And lastly, on sports. Eyimba head coach Finidi George has been touted as a replacement for the Super Eagles manager Jose Pesaro. Finidi's former Super Eagles teammate Emmanuel Omonike is also a front-runner for the job. Current handler Pesaro's current will run out at the end of this month. According to information, the Portuguese will be asked to take a significant pay cut to remain in charge of the team. The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, will offer Finidi or Omonike the job if Pesaro's contract is not renewed. Finidi won the Nigeria Premier League title with Eyimba in the 2022-2023 season. The former winger is currently working as one of the assistants to Pesaro. Omonike, on the other hand, has served as an assistant coach in the Super Eagles in the past. The 52-year-old guided the Golden Eaglet to the title at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in 2015. He has also managed the Tanzanian national team and worked with clubs in Nigeria, Sudan, Egypt, as well as Zambia. With that sports story, we end today's world news from BGI TV Currents. Before we go, some major headlines. Tinubu departs Abuja for Paris. Vice President Kashim Shettima decorates new acting IG. We have recovered land worth trillions of naira, Kano government speaks. And on sport, Finidi Omonike, leading candidate to replace Pesaro as Super Eagles manager. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV Currents. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option 4 to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, with Alawiye Adebayo, please like and follow the page. For ad replacements of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Mori Rabila Lawal. Good evening.